understand it's not my favorite. We'll do one more. Face the camera. I'm sorry, face your feet on the camera. I'm sorry, Adam. When I'm here is I can bait the Ashigarami. I can bait him to roll and be ready with my near side Garcia roll up here. So I'm in here. Let's say I can't break Adam down. I'm trying to take the back. I can go here, wait for him to roll, and roll with him and try to take the back. But that is risky because if he traps my leg in between his legs and then he gets over my body, I'll show you. He goes after the leg, I go here. Now if he can start to come on this side of my body, things start to get not so good. Now he can start to turn and face me, he's getting on top, maybe he's in my legs, and bad things happen. So understand that if your opponent is a good leg locker, if they're a good leg locker, it can be dangerous to bait that Ashigarami. So I was a little hesitant to show, but it's a good option for if your opponent is trying to go for the leg lock, but they're not like high degree of them yet. Okay, so now we got to go over the last one. This is probably the easiest. It's just the idea that I have to stop Adam from pummeling his elbow across my body. When I'm here, if I can stay behind and inside Adam's elbow, and I can stay behind the elbow here, he can't face me. Okay, if I'm here and he tries to turn and face me, even like move, like turn and, yep. He can't turn and face as long as I stay behind the elbow. But if he can get his elbow between me and him, he can now turn and face me, and now I can thug him, he can wrestle, and no good from there. So understand, we just have to stay behind the elbow. That's all. There's a few different ways I can do this. I can come in with my right hand inside, and I can take a straight wrist grip. So now if Adam tries to pummel his hand between me and him, my elbow is behind and inside his elbow, he'll never get it. I can also wedge my knee, like so, behind the elbow, behind and inside the elbow. And I need to keep my hip tight to the body. So now when Adam tries to pummel that elbow between me and him, there's zero space. I can do it with my left knee. So this was a straight knee insertion. I can come in with a cross knee insertion. Again, keeping my hip and my body tight to Adam's ribs. When he goes to get this elbow between me and him, it's not easy, there's not enough space. Now let's say Adam is playing a true good closed turtle. His elbow's up into the pocket of his hip, and I cannot get behind and inside the elbow. What do I do here? I just make sure to play a little further back. If I'm in here and I cannot get behind and inside the elbow, it's dangerous for me to sit here and play over the elbow. One quick movement of his arm gets his arm across my center line, and now things are getting bad. Okay? So let's have you face this way. So he's got this elbow in tight. I want to be behind and inside the elbow as much as possible. Let's loosen the elbow up. If I'm here, either with my elbow, with a knee, if he tries to move his arm between me and him, he can't. But when I have nothing in between that arm, this elbow is now dangerous. If I creep too far in front, it's very easy for Adam to pass this arm underneath my body. So he's in a good, what we call a tripod turtle, where he's got one base of support, two bases of support, his head's a third. His hands aren't on the floor at all. They're just up here defending the neck and defending the hips, a tripod turtle. I make sure I don't get too far in front of the elbow. I don't start playing here. If I start playing here, he's going to get that arm free. So when I'm playing against somebody with good elbow position, I tend to play here a little more. So when Adam goes to pummel that elbow, my body's completely behind it. This leaves me vulnerable. This keeps me kind of safe. And then from this position, we can start off balancing our opponent, going into breakdowns like we looked at last week. Okay, so there you guys have it. You guys see, those are 5 of the most common escapes from a closed turtle position. Those 5 common escapes. Your opponent's going to try to sit to guard and just turn and face you, just slouching to their hips, building frames and recovering. They're going to try to trap your far arm and roll over the outside shoulder roll. They're going to try to roll over the inside shoulder and get back to guard. They're going to try to roll and start to capture your legs, looking to enter into Ashigarami variations. Or they're just going to try to turn and face you, slipping that arm between you and them so I can turn and face and start to wrestle you. And we saw good ways to deal with all 5 escapes. Good ways to beat sitting to guard, good ways to beat the outside shoulder roll, good ways to beat the inside shoulder roll, good ways to beat the Ashigarami roll, and good ways to beat that arm pummeling wrestling escape they do. Okay, so essentially it always came down to the same stuff, guys. Okay, stay behind and inside the elbows so you can stay tight to the pocket of the shoulders. That way they can't get their elbows between you and them, and they can't use their elbows to make space and frame. And then we do the same thing with the lower body. What does that mean? It means we have to stay inside the knees, or stay inside the knees to the pocket of the hips. And we stay on the outside of the knees. We never let them put us between their knees again. When we're on the outside of the knees, we stay on the outside of the knees and tight here, inside the knee to the pocket of the hip. So if they try to turn and face us and get their knees in between me and them again, I can keep those knees shut out so they can't make space. We can stay tight body to body and maintain our tight control. Thanks, guys.